the day had at last shown up. On July 15, 1965, following a 228-day flight, the space test Mariner 4 arrived at the domains of Mars and consequently communicated the first pictures of the surface of another planet to Earth. Although the subsequent pictures immediately shocked earthly scientists, the fact was that they covered only 1% of the surface of Mars. In the following years, as is well known, numerous other Mars missions were to follow, significantly expanding our knowledge of the red planet. Nevertheless, our renowned cosmic neighbor still holds countless mysteries that remain to be unraveled in current and future explorations. Indeed, several highly advanced tests are actively working at this moment to take a closer look at Mars. Foremost among them is NASA's Perseverance rover, which landed on the rust-covered surface of Mars on February 18, 2021. In the following video, you can discover which pictures and findings the rover has communicated to Earth so far. Want to join us on our cosmic journey to the greatest mysteries of the universe? Then make sure to subscribe to our feed and activate the notification bell to stay up to date in the future. If you enjoy the content of our videos, don't hesitate to give them a thumbs up. Mars 2020 mission. As part of NASA's Mars 2020 project, the prestigious space agency not only launched its fifth Mars rover mission but also sent the first helicopter mission to the Red Planet at the same time. Alongside the Perseverance rover, the small Ingenuity helicopter was also deployed to the surface of Mars. The Atlas V launch vehicle, which carried the equipment 300 million miles to its destination, left Earth on July 30, 2020. The landing craft finally touched down in the Jezero crater on February 18, 2021. The mission aims to provide deeper insights into the natural characteristics and past of our cosmic neighbor. Perseverance is primarily tasked with collecting Martian rocks and analyzing samples to understand geological processes, potential biosignatures, and the planet's geological history. Furthermore, the mission will closely examine the Martian atmosphere. The search for signs of life is also one of the mission's top priorities. To avoid contamination with earthly microbes that could mislead findings, the rover was assembled in a specialized clean room. This mission also marks a significant step toward a future manned Mars flight. Accordingly, Perseverance will also convert carbon dioxide to oxygen during its mission and evaluate the results. On April 20, 2021, this task was successfully carried out for the first time. The MOXIE instrument produced 5.4 grams of oxygen from carbon dioxide in 1 hour. This amount of oxygen is enough to sustain a space explorer's breathing for about 10 minutes. This marked the first time oxygen had been produced on another planet, an extraordinary scientific milestone. Another achievement occurred a day earlier, on April 19, when the Ingenuity helicopter completed its maiden flight. During the 39-second flight, the device reached an altitude of about 10 feet. This was the first instance of a helicopter flying on another planet. Let's now delve into the remarkable recordings and findings of the Mars 2020 mission. Jezero crater. As mentioned earlier, the Jezero crater was selected as the initial landing site. What appears today to be a barren, dusty plain was around 4 billion years ago a massive crater lake. The Martian waters covered a catchment area of approximately 9,000 square miles, while the actual lake spanned about 300 square miles. Rivers flowing into the lake transported various suspended solids, depositing them over time as broad fields or so-called deltas. A meteorite impact created the 10-mile-wide Jezero crater. As a result of the impact, phyllosilicates were ejected onto Mars's surface, which remain visible today. Under temperatures ranging from 200 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, countless clay minerals formed, a process made possible only by the presence of liquid water. Delta scarp. A look at the mosaic photograph of the delta scarp reveals a detailed view of a former river delta in Mars's Jezero crater. Experts believe the 380-foot wide scarp is a sediment deposit once transported by a river into Lake Jezero. South Sida. This image shows the South Sida region of Jezero crater in detail. Taken during Ingenuity's 11th flight, the photo clearly shows the helicopter's shadow at the bottom of the image. In the background, behind the dune field, the Perseverance rover appears as a small bright. The first borehole. This intriguing image shows the first borehole drilled by Perseverance on Mars. While the close-up makes it seem large, the borehole is only about an inch in diameter. Taken by Watson, a subsystem of the Sherlock instrument, this image provides information about the borehole's nature and structure, offering insights into deeper areas of the planet. The photo, published on August 11, 2021, was taken at night to minimize shadows cast within the hole. White LEDs installed in Watson provided the necessary lighting. Rubian borehole. The borehole shown here, named Rubian by scientists, was created by the rover's drill. Smaller indentations in the area were made by laser pulses from the SuperCam instrument. Each depression required a total of 30 laser shots, arranged in 2 rows. Raised ridges. This photo, taken during Ingenuity's 10th flight, showcases the unique geographical features of Mars, shown up on July 15, raised ridges by scientists. Following a 228-day fascinating insights into the planet's geological history, at the domain of Mars and transmitted the first pictures of the surface of another planet to Earth. Although the resulting images quickly surprised Earthbound researchers, the fact was that they covered only 1% of the Martian surface. In the following years, as is well known, numerous other Mars missions followed, significantly expanding our knowledge of the red planet. However, our cosmic neighbor still holds countless mysteries waiting to be unraveled in current and future projects. Indeed, several highly advanced missions are currently tasked with taking a closer look at Mars. Foremost among them is NASA's Perseverance rover, which reached the rust-covered surface of Mars on February 18, 2021. In the following video, you can discover the images and findings the rover has communicated to Earth so far. Want to join us on our cosmic journey to uncover the greatest mysteries of the universe? Then make sure to subscribe to our feed and activate the notification bell to stay updated. If you enjoy the content of our videos, feel free to give them a thumbs up. Mars 2020. As part of NASA's Mars 2020 mission, the renowned space agency not only launched the 5th Mars rover mission but also initiated the first helicopter mission on the red planet. Alongside the Perseverance rover, the small Ingenuity helicopter was deployed to Mars. The Atlas V launch vehicle, carrying the equipment 300 million miles away, left Earth on July 30, 2020. The landing craft finally touched down in the Jezero crater on February 18, 2021. The mission aims to provide further insights into the natural characteristics and history of our cosmic neighbor. Perseverance is primarily tasked with collecting Martian rocks and examining the samples for geological processes, biosignatures, and the planet's geological history. Additionally, the Martian atmosphere will be studied in detail. The search for signs of life is one of the primary mission objectives. To avoid contamination with earthly microorganisms that could skew discoveries, the rover was assembled in a specialized clean room. The mission also aligns with a broader goal of paving the way for a future manned Mars flight. Accordingly, Perseverance will test the conversion of carbon dioxide into oxygen during its stay and analyze the results. On April 20, 2021, this experiment was successfully conducted for the first time. The MOXIE instrument managed to produce 5.4 grams of oxygen from carbon dioxide within an hour, enough for an astronaut to breathe for about 10 minutes. This marked the first time oxygen was produced on an alien planet. Another significant milestone occurred a day earlier, on April 19, when the Ingenuity helicopter drone successfully took flight. During the 39-second flight, the device reached an altitude of around 10 feet. This marked the first time a helicopter flew on another planet. Now, let's explore the images captured during the Mars 2020 mission. Jezero crater. As mentioned earlier, the Jezero crater was chosen as the initial landing site. What appears to us today as a barren, dusty plain was, around 4 billion years ago, a massive crater lake. The Martian waters covered a catchment area of about 9,000 square miles, while the actual lake spanned an area of 300 square miles. Over time, river tributaries carried suspended solids into Lake Jezero, depositing them as expansive fields, known as deltas. A meteorite impact is responsible for the presence of the 10-mile-wide Jezero crater. As a result of the collision, phyllosilicates were scattered across Mars' surface and are still visible today. Under temperatures between 200 and 400 degrees Fahrenheit, countless clay minerals formed due to the presence of liquid water. Delta Scarp. A look at the mosaic photograph of the so-called Delta Scarp reveals what a former river delta on Mars looks like in detail. Experts believe the 380-foot-wide scarp is a deposit of sediments that were once transported by a river into Lake Jezero. South Sida. The first image shows the South Sida region of Jezero crater in detail. This picture was taken during the 11th flight of the Ingenuity helicopter. In fact, we can clearly see the shadow of the helicopter at the bottom of the image. Just behind the dune field, the Perseverance rover is visible as a small bright spot. The land vehicle appears more clearly in the second image, which zooms in on the scene. The first borehole. This fascinating image might make one think Perseverance had punched a massive hole into the Martian surface. However, the close-up distorts the true dimensions of the rover's first borehole, which is only slightly over an inch in diameter. The Watson camera, part of the Sherlock instrument, captured the image to document the borehole's texture and structure and gather information about deeper layers. The image, published on August 11, 2021, was unexpectedly taken at night to minimize shadows inside the borehole. Illumination was provided by white LEDs installed in Watson. Collecting geological samples is a central goal of the current Mars mission. In future missions, the soil samples will be retrieved and brought back to Earth for detailed analysis. To ensure this, several half-ounce rock samples will be sealed in special containers and stored in accessible locations on Mars' surface. Rubian. The borehole shown in this image has been named Rubian by researchers. This hole, drilled into Martian rock, is accompanied by smaller depressions created by laser pulses from the supercam. A total of 30 laser shots were used in each case to form the depressions, arranged in 2 rows. Raised ridges. This photograph, taken during Ingenuity's 10th flight, highlights the geological peculiarities of the Martian surface. These prominent ground features are referred to by scientists as raised ridges.